Imagine a world where the glitz and glamour of high fashion are suddenly shattered by a chilling act of violence. This isn't a scene from a gripping thriller film, but the real-life drama that unfolded on the vibrant streets of Miami Beach. Gianni Versace, an icon whose designs adorn celebrities and royalty, was brutally murdered at his palatial home's doorstep. What drove a young man to commit such a heinous act against one of the most celebrated figures in fashion? This question haunts the corridors of the fashion world and the dark alleys of crime to this day. On a seemingly ordinary morning on July 15, 1997, Gianni Versace decided to step out for a casual walk to fetch the daily newspaper, a routine that spelled neither threat nor fear. However, the steps back to his mansion became his last, as Andrew Cunanan, a 27-year-old spree killer, approached and fatally shot Versace, leaving the designer to die on his own doorstep. The audacity of the murder, carried out in broad daylight, sent shockwaves worldwide, leaving many to question the very security of life amidst fame. Andrew Cunanan, who had been on a killing spree across America, made Versace his final victim. Before this horrifying act, Cunanan had already claimed the lives of 4 other men, each murder adding layers to his complex psychological profile. The FBI's frantic search to capture him was met with frustration as Cunanan skillfully evaded capture time and again. What could drive a man to unleash such a torrent of violence? Was it his reported mental unraveling, his struggles with personal identity, or perhaps a desperate cry for recognition in a world that seemed to overlook him? As Versace's death dominated headlines, the ensuing manhunt for Cunanan turned into a national obsession. The media dissected Cunanan's life, from his comfortable yet turbulent childhood to his flamboyant lifestyle, marked by lies and deceit. The public watched in morbid fascination as the story unfolded like a dark, twisted soap opera. But what does this say about society's fascination with crime and tragedy? Are we merely passive observers? Or do we find a strange connection to these macabre tales? In the swirl of chaos that followed the murder, theories about Cunanan's motives proliferated. Some suggested his actions were the result of a personal vendetta against an industry that epitomized the success he craved but could never achieve. Others pondered if it was an attack driven by deeper psychological issues or a skewed retaliation against perceived slights. How can we begin to understand the mind that operates in the shadows of such enigma? Despite his tragic end, Gianni Versace's legacy remains vibrant in the fashion world. His bold, innovative designs continue to influence trends and fashion philosophy. Versace's sister, Donatella, took over as the creative director, ensuring that the Versace brand not only survived but thrived, turning grief into triumph. But at what cost does fame come? And how does the industry shield itself from potential threats born out of the very spotlight it seeks? The assassination of Gianni Versace serves as a grim reminder of the price of fame and the illusion of security that often accompanies public figures. It also forces us to reflect on the nature of obsession and the pursuit of recognition in modern society. What lessons have we learned about the intersection of public visibility and personal vulnerability since that fateful day? As we delve deeper into the complexities of high-profile crimes, one must ask, what is the real allure of these dark narratives? Is it the desire to solve the unsolvable, or perhaps a way to confront our deepest fears through the safe distance of storytelling? As you reflect on the life and death of Gianni Versace, consider the paradox of visibility. Does the spotlight reveal more than it hides, or does it obscure more than it illuminates? The assassination of Gianni Versace remains one of the most infamous chapters in the annals of true crime and fashion history, intertwining a narrative of glamour with violence, exposing the vulnerabilities even the most iconic figures face. As we revisit the steps leading to that tragic day on the steps of his Miami mansion, we also delve into the cultural aftermath and the enduring questions that the murder left in its wake. Versace's murder was not just the end of a man, but a startling interruption of the world of high fashion. which he had so dynamically sculpted. His visionary approach brought vitality and a rock and roll feel to the catwalks, fusing celebrity with couture in a way that redefined what fashion could mean in the popular imagination. His creations adorned movie stars, royalty, and athletes, making the Versace brand synonymous with luxury and an unabashed celebration of life. Yet, his brutal death highlighted a stark contrast to his creations, underlining a dark narrative where envy, madness, and obsession blurred lines between admiration and destruction. The person responsible for this devastation, Andrew Cunanan, remains an enigma. In the weeks that followed Versace's murder, the public and media alike scrambled to piece together the psyche of a spree killer whose motivations seemed as eclectic as they were. Chilling. Cunanan, who took his own life 8 days after killing Versace, left behind a trail of questions that complicate our understanding of his crimes. Was this a targeted attack driven by a personal vendetta, or was Versace merely the highest-profile victim of a disturbed man's chaotic spree? These questions challenge us to consider the unforeseen impacts of societal pressures and the destructive potential of unchecked mental health issues. In examining this case, we confront uncomfortable truths about the society we inhabit, a society enamored with fame and celebrity culture, yet unequipped to address the shadows that such a spotlight can cast. The media frenzy that followed the murder and the public's insatiable curiosity about Cunanan's motives reflect a macabre fascination with the spectacle of downfall. This fascination often overshadows a much-needed discussion on the safety of public figures and the responsibilities of media coverage, which can sometimes border on the sensational at the expense of the humane. Moreover, Versace's legacy prompts a reflection on the resilience of creative spirits against the backdrop of tragedy. Under Donatella Versace's leadership, the Versace brand has continued to flourish, celebrating her brother's ethos while navigating the complexities of a world that is at once more connected and more dangerous. The fashion community's rallying support in the aftermath of Gianni's death underscores the potential for unity and recovery through shared grief and collective tribute. Yet, as we continue to ponder over Versace's contributions and the circumstances of his death, we must also engage with broader societal issues that his murder illuminated. Issues such as the security of high-profile individuals, the mental health crises plaguing our communities, and the ethical considerations of reporting on crime. Each aspect invites us to question, learn, and apply these lessons to prevent future tragedies. As true crime enthusiasts, our intrigue often stems from a desire to solve mysteries and seek justice. In stories like Versace's, our quest for understanding transcends the immediate details of the crime itself and touches on deeper societal reflections. What can we learn about human nature, fame, and the often unseen burdens carried by those who live their lives in the public eye? How do we balance our fascination with the darker aspects of human stories with respect and dignity for the victims and their families? In closing, while we may never fully understand the motivations behind Versace's murder, the legacy of his life and the circumstances of his death continue to resonate. They challenge us to look beyond the allure of surface glamour and confront the complexities lying beneath. As we remember Versace, let us also ponder the implications of his death on our perceptions of fame, fortune, and the inherent vulnerabilities that accompany them. How do we protect those whose achievements thrust them into the public eye? And how do we, as a society, respond to the spectacles of their adversities? These are the questions we must carry forward, as reminders of the costs of fame and the human stories behind the headlines.